What is going on, folks? Will Turby here. Fake Mike. Real news. We're getting a good bounce in the new spot. Arg, and we have the
what's up?
With us. Titus Frost
Can't hear you.
for the show. Can you hear me?
I can see you, but I can't hear you. So
Let
me try to fix the audio.
Take your time. Guys, share the video while you got it. We're talking to a legend tonight. He's one of my personal heroes. And he needs your money. No, he doesn't need your money, but he needs your help. Her Money YT, Mad Mom Anon.
There we go.
Can you hear
now
me?
I can hear me. Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah. What's up, dude? How you doing?
I'm doing very good, man. How are you doing?
I've had better days, but we're there. We're going. We're rocking. You know how it is in the New World Order. Every day is getting a little bit worse.
Yeah, I don't know how you feel about this, Titus, but I felt like before the age of Trump, there was kind of one banner of truthers, whether you didn't like GMOs, you didn't like vaccines, or you're 9/11 truther. It seemed like we were kind of on the same page and working towards the same goalpost. And now I feel like, I don't know. I feel like we're winning. I feel like I never believed that coronavirus could happen. The lockdowns could happen the way things have happened, where everything is totally shut down. They're giving COVID anal swabs. I really thought we were better than this as a society. It's actually, it's a little disappointing that we're having to go through this. But you had a great idea. I watched. First of all, guys, let's see. I'm gonna put up on screen here. This is the BitChute place. This is his main hub on BitChute. I don't know. I'll let him tell you what his main hub is. I've watched, with the exception of these 1, 2, 3, 4. With the exception of the last 4, I've watched every single one of Titus's videos twice, and they're good. And it wasn't until the halfway point I started using double speed on the videos, and then like 3 episodes later, you were like, "Yeah, people should use double speed on my episodes to get through them because you cover a lot of stuff." I do not suggest that for my videos. I sound really bad. I sound like a high-pitched Disney mouse as it is. And if you double speed me, man, forget it. So you guys do that with Titus's videos, but not mine. But yeah, Titus, what is BitChute your hub now? What's your hub?
Yeah, I mean, my main live streaming is on DLive, and then the main re-upload place. Well, actually, I don't even know anymore because it's like Rockfin is growing faster. I have more probably followers on Rockfin than any of the other alternatives. So I guess Rockfin, where I stream live, is now the main hub, and then DLive is where the most of the people in the chat are when we live stream, and then BitChute and Odyssey. But I mean, basically, like the number one place for me is always going to be hive.blog/@TitusFrost, because that's where I post everything. So if you want to watch BitChute or Odyssey or DLive, it's all on Hive, right? So that's like my website, basically.
So tell people a little bit about Hive too. I'm bringing up, these are they can find you on screen as Titus Frost. And honestly, I've watched every single one of your videos twice, like I said, with the exception of the last 4. And only recently did I start going through the show notes. And I mean, I've always followed along with you, but now I have one tab open with the show notes. And if I see something like, oh, I didn't know about or didn't come across me, which is a lot of stuff, you come across a lot of stuff that I don't come across. And I'll be like, oh, that's the show. And then I remember one time you're saying, guys, just take this information. It's all right there for you. Just take the damn notes. You can do your own damn show. I mean, let's just scroll through some of the stuff. I mean, I'm already halfway done through this one here, but this was interesting. The Department of Homeland Security says potential terror threats are opposition to COVID measures. So anybody that believes in human freedom or the Constitution, claims of election fraud. Well, I've been yelling election fraud since George Bush. And the threats is 9/11 anniversary and religious holidays. And so I guess the main reason I wanted to get you on the show tonight, and maybe we can talk about Ancapistan briefly, or Christianity too, is so I had a protest planned for September 11th in New York City. It's the 20th anniversary. I try to talk to Burmis, Kriston, T. Harris. I try to get in touch with everybody and let's say, hey guys, let's get a large show of people there. And I believe I still will attend that. And I would ask everybody to go ahead and do that. But it's interesting. Terrorists for the 9/11 anniversary. It was the U.S. government that did 9/11. And now on this anniversary, you can't go inside New York City. You can't. Do you know how much this costs, Titus Frost, in Manhattan? A pack of game cigarillos?
Oh, Jesus, I have no idea.
Just wander a guess, if you wouldn't mind.
Probably $9 now.
Double that.
What?
Last 2 times I went to Manhattan, it might be different. I know it's different in Yonkers, but last 2 times I went to Manhattan, weed is legalized, and qualified immunity is gone, which is very important. But you're going to pay at least $16 to $20 for some Dutches. But we're still the vaccine passports. We are really at a crossroads right now. And I've been catching up on Titus Frost's videos. And he was saying, hey, what the fuck, guys? It's great to be a YouTuber. And it's great to say, hey, guys, like, share, subscribe. I'm going to unbox this right now. I'm a truther. I'm going to talk shit right now. Angry cat on Twitter. That's cool, and we need that. We definitely need people to get out there and spread their voice. But, I mean, I respect Titus so much. Tell people a few of the trips that you went on. I know you went to Wexner's house. I know you went to Gates' house. These people don't live up on Mount Olympus here. Tell people a little bit about some of the adventures you've had outside on your own captainship there.
Yeah, so much like yourself, we've both gone out there in the field and tried to bring our activism to the actual elites and not like the lower level operators. And we're not contributing to the left-right paradigm, which is destroying this country by design. So basically, what you and I are doing is what needs to be done for journalists inside of the so-called truth community. And because so many of these truth journalists are associated with, IIAA operators, which are like these army connected intelligence assets, they don't do activism anymore. So they've directed people's energy away from doing in-person activism and directed it into these shills that soak up all of the views, that soak up all of the, the money that gets flowed into the truth community, and then they redirect it into people that don't support in-person activism, which is the vast majority of the truth community now.
And I'm not knocking anybody in the truth community for getting up there and doing activism, even if it's just behind a computer or however you do it, but there comes a time, and neither Titus Frost or myself are calling ever for preemptive violence. Never. However, we got to get off our ass now and again. And I heard Titus Frost saying the same shit I was saying, which is these people live at places. We can go and rally at them. I went to the Bushes recently in Kennebunkport, Maine. There's a whole compound there. And I say in all my videos, yeah, when a former idiot who became a reluctant leader with a whisk in his hand can go out there and do this. We need 10, it looks bad when I'm just doing this is what I'm trying to say. We need 10, 50, 100 people at each of their houses. And then they're going to notice that. That's going to make the news. Matter of fact, there was a rather large protest at the Rhode Island State House the other day for medical freedom because all the nurses that were last year's heroes and all the healthcare workers, now if you don't get the and Titus, I call them wizards on this channel because of you. And if we can refer to the guys, 9 people watching, this is pathetic even for me on my deleted channel. Guys, this is one of the most important videos. If I go up and ask a cop, what do you think of the Constitution? We'll have 2,000 views on that in an hour because you got a dumb cop with the thumbnail. Oh, action. Let's see if who gets arrested. No, this is important shit, guys. Yes, yours return. Share the video. EC Boxy. Nice. I always see you on Titus's live stream. Welcome to Fake Mike Real News. It's an honor to have you here. You got a lot of good information. Yes. Okay, Mexican Righteous, you've got props. We love you, Mexican Righteous. I'm not talking to you guys that are activists out there already. I know you guys that are already in the street. We're talking to the normies and the people that are on the fence right now. So, Titus, let's talk about this idea that you've concocted, and you've made it accessible to pretty much anybody in the United States. And even if you don't have a car, you can request time off of work now and find another way to get there.
Yeah, for sure. So we're going to go and have a protest at Fauci's office and at Bill Gates's 2 mansions on September 4th upcoming. So that's the idea. And the idea is to start this, just to set like an example. It'll probably be really, really, really small. But if we can do this with like, maybe 10 people showing up at each location at the same time on the same day, and if we can get some media coverage, maybe it'll inspire other people to start doing it. And I think unless these elites start feeling actual consequences for their actions, like having people show up and set up lemonade stands across from their mansion, then I don't think this is going to end, because the New World Order is just steamrolling. They're destroying this country by design. And it's the acceleration has ramped up to a level that I didn't think would happen this quickly,
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I always thought that something might happen in our lifetime for sure, but I would be maybe a little bit older when it happens, and but COVID just hit all of a sudden. And honestly, I even got a little adjusted to COVID. The first couple months with the lockdowns and everything, I could only shop at Walmart. There was curfews. People were getting dragged out of churches. People were getting separated from their families at funerals. People were getting arrested for having church. I mean, the fundamental shit that the United States is based on, freedom of religion, freedom of worship, that's all gone. That's all gone. And if you don't have rights, if the government can just take them away at a whim, that means you don't have rights. You have privileges that they allow you to have. And people forget the proper power dynamic between our government and the citizenry, which is we are the bosses. We are the bosses. We pay the money and we make sure that they uphold the Constitution. Now, Titus Frost is one of the Titus Frost. Now I'm going to pat myself on the back a little bit too. With Billy Boy Gates here. I mean, we've been calling it with this idiot for years, and now it's come out. Everything we said, yeah, he was LARPing around to get the Nobel Peace Prize. Oh, he was kissing Bill Gates' ass. And I will actually give Anderson Cooper credit, because he brought it up again the other day. So I'll even give Anderson credit his due. He asked him about a few weeks ago about his relationship with Epstein again. But you're absolutely right, Titus. We the time for being behind the keyboard is long gone. I remember Scientology versus Anonymous. I mean, that's like how many years ago now? And we haven't seen anything. We haven't really seen any forms of activism on the streets. You have a few reopen rallies, a few BLM rallies, and really nothing. There needs to be a larger response to what's happening. So did you also have something planned for the NIH and Fauci's on the East Coast too, or is it just Bill Gates' house?
No, yeah, we're going to be at Dr. Fauci's office at the NIH on September 4th. So that's where I will be that day. So I'll be at Fauci's office down at the NIH. So
yeah, guys,
it's near DC, so it's not too far of a drive.
Yeah, I mean, that's plenty of time for you guys to go ahead and request some time off, organize plans to get down there. I want to check on the chat real quick. Who is coming with on September 4th to the NIH? If you're on the West Coast, we're going to go to Billy Boy's house. If you're on the East Coast, we're going to the NIH. I mean, you could stay at your house and be a bitch and be remembered in history as the guy that just sat there while a rapist, a child rapist. We're going to have to throw this live stream on my backup channel after this. He basically shut everybody in their houses. I mean, Cuomo killed people. How many people died? Even the World Health Organization admits far more people died as a result of starvation and the lockdowns than COVID. And people just don't care. I mean, I was disinvited to my family's last gathering because I have not been vaccinated. I shit you not. I was invited. It was actually the last time I was going to see them for a long time. And I was supposed to have lunch with them, and then they said, "You know what, Will? You don't have the vaccine. There's going to be a baby there." I'm going to have to find my plug for my laptop because it's obviously not plugged in. But that's what it's come to. I even heard James Corbett, who was also banned, say we're already in a civil war, and he's not a hyperbolic person. So the future is not looking too good unless
he said what? He said we're in a civil war.
Yeah, he said he said we are actually already in a civil war. It's already here. He said the lines have already been drawn. It's not a North versus South thing. It's already in your family. You know, it's.
See, that's exactly what the Belt and Road Initiative, Israeli, Chinese pushing people want. Is they want a dissolution of the United States and a destruction of the U.S. Constitution. And they want this country at civil war. That's why they push the hyper divisive politics. And that's why there is this rise of a Donald Trump, right? Donald Trump, as we've all figured out, and I've readily given up on now, is obviously a member of their occult, little membership. And, like basically with what they've done, they've divided this country up so badly. Like you have this left versus right paradigm that's been done to divide it. And they want us to go into like a civil war because that's the only way to destroy America is from within. And they know it. So I don't like the fact that Corbett's saying it's a civil war because it's not a civil war, and Corbett's in Japan. And
that's true.
Like we're not actually at civil war with each other. It's really hyper divisive out there. And you do have like this stupid shit going on where families are, not meeting with each other because of the vaccine crap. And, we have like in my office place, it's gotten so bad with the politic talk that we've had to ban politic talk in the office because there's been a couple of like heated arguments in the office place, because you have people on the left and people on the right in the same building. So
yeah, and the crazy thing is that I've realized kind of late in my activism is thank you 17 watching. Okay, share this video. We need to, we've broken 100 on this channel, and this is a small channel, so we need to get this video out, guys. This is important shit right here. Yeah, I mean, what I've realized over time is facts really don't matter. They really don't matter. Most people make decisions based on emotion and not logic. So we kind of gotta, and that's why the news has been so successful. They get people in fear. First it was the terror level is elevated. Oh, it's yellow. Oh, or before that it was the Russians. And now it's COVID. They're gonna find any way they can to scare you into doing something. And we need to use some humor, some music, and avant-garde ways of reaching out to people because it's really crazy. We've gotten, Titus, how many times have you been banned? Your first channel had like almost 50,000 subscribers, millions upon millions upon millions of views. What channel number are you on right now? The Ghost of Captain
we're on 7 and 8. Yeah, 7 and 8.
And I want to say thank you because it's really frustrating when you wake up and you see your email. It's like your account has been disabled. You're gone. You're totally gone. It's frustrating, and so we got to keep it on YouTube. That's why I'm still here. We also got to go to the other platforms as well too, like Rockfin. Let's go to tlbtalk.com. That's a brand new site as well too. We also have an app there. That's not mine, but it's my friend that runs that. Now, what I will say, Titus, is I do actually hope that the U.S. Constitution gets destroyed because, unfortunately, nobody gives a shit about it anyways. They all sit there, from every public servant, from the low-level police officers to the governors and the president. They swear a sacred oath before God and their countrymen, and as soon as they get to work, they just shit on it. They just work to shit on it. So it's unfortunately just a piece of paper. And you know what? I know you had your little thing with high impact there, whatever, but I believe anarcho-capitalism is actually more practical. It's actually more pragmatic. And the reason I think so is because the government actually ends up doing 100-fold worse than what they're actually supposed to do, right? Like they say, oh, well, we'll give people healthcare. We murder people, right? We're going to protect your rights. We do the opposite. And whatever the government pretends that they're going to do, they end up doing more harm. And I actually think it is practical that we don't have any masters, that we have the right to decide for ourselves. I mean, that's our government now is like, a government for and by the people, but it's really not for us and by us. We've delegated that power elsewhere. Our free speech is gone, especially with coronavirus. I mean, if you even before coronavirus, if you take a look at the Bill of Rights, them shits were all gone. Anyways, so what say you about that, Titus? Why do you think that statism is practical compared to anarcho-capitalism? Because it used to be an ANCAP, and I've been wanting to ask you about this.
Okay, well, so it's sort of a multifaceted thing that you're asking. So I guess I'll get to the Constitution part first, and then I'll get to the anarcho-capitalist thing second. So with the Constitution, yes, the people in charge have disregarded the natural rights that are protected by the Bill of Rights. Doesn't mean that those natural rights are gone. It just means that the people in charge are corrupt and need to be removed from office so that we can restore those natural rights, because whether they're written in a constitution or not, they exist. And the Constitution is the best document that has represented those natural rights that's been written with the Bill of Rights. So inherently with the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, there's nothing wrong with the document itself. The problem is with the people that have been put in charge of upholding those values in the Constitution. So I think we both want the same thing, which is a return to our natural rights. And it's just, how do you get there? Now, the getting there part, if you get rid of government, the reason I've gone from being an ANCAP to being more of a constitutionalist is the fact, statist, is that, no, it's fine. Like, I get it. Like, I was an ANCAP for years. The reason I've changed my mind on that, well, first off, as people like Brendan O'Connell will talk about in terms of China and Israel and the Belt and Road Project, people like High Impact Flicks are contributing.
So hold on one second. Sorry to interrupt you, Titus, but the second time that you brought it up, I'm very familiar with this because I watch every one of your shows, but I'm sure there's some people out there that don't know what the Belt and Road Project, so if you could maybe give them the gist of that.
Okay, so the real great reset that no one's talking about is the reset of the infrastructure of the entire trade network of the world. Right now, the vast majority of trade product goes from China, where it's built cheap, shipped over to the United States, where it gets stamped with US symbols on it, like Apple, and then it gets shipped out to the rest of the world, pretending it's American product. But America benefits greatly from this because we're the center of trade in the world. From this, everything comes from China. We stamp it as made in America, and then it goes out to the rest of the world, making us this huge trade center of the world. What the Belt and Road Project is China rebuilding the ancient Silk Road that goes from China directly over the landmass to the European markets and to Africa. That's why China's pumping huge money into Africa, into the roads. And that's why they're pumping huge money into the Middle East. And that's why China just took over Afghanistan with the Taliban. And the problem with people like High Impact Flicks is, whether he knows it or not, he's contributing to the demoralization of the American people by constantly demoralizing the American public and making them think that we don't need an American Constitution, because that's the last thing standing in the way of these guys. They're trying to destroy this country. They don't care about America anymore. They've shifted their operations to the new Eurasian supercontinent. It's blatantly obvious. They're not building.
They use the United States as a host, And when they were done sucking all the lifeblood out of us, they moved on to a more authoritarian place where they were like, hey, I'm not going to pay Titus $20, $25, $30 an hour. I'll go farm slaves in China, you idiots.
Yeah.
So I do, and that is one of the more pressing points that people will bring up is, hey, I don't think it's demoralizing the United States about the Constitution, because I think if anything, the Constitution and the fact that these United States, I mean, it's not constitutional at all that these companies have been allowed. I mean, they're American companies. They use our technology, they use our infrastructure, they use everything, and then they go, and then it's like, we're just not going to pay you guys, and we're not going to pay any taxes, which is cool. That's cool, but and they're still considered an American company. I think this has actually kind of exacerbated the situation in China. I guess we should save that for.
Well, with ANCAP, if you went to ANCapitalism, this is the problem. The corporations would not be regulated anymore. And we have this problem already. Like, the biggest infiltration of the American government has actually come through by private corporations. So like Edward Snowden revealed, he was an outside private contractor. A lot of the intelligence agencies have outsourced their intelligence work to private companies. You have companies like Intel that have every computer system in the entire US government, and they're making their stuff in Israel, right? So they even say, like, we're an Israeli company as much as we are as an American company, and they make all the microprocessors for every computer system in our country. So we're massively infiltrated through the private corporate sector. And the only thing that's even like holding back against that is government regulation. And it's actually much harder to infiltrate like the NSA than it is to infiltrate Intel. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, see, I would disagree again. I think the reason that corporations have been, because corporations, the problem with the corporations is they're not constitutional either. The original corporations that were created by the government were like to create the Brooklyn Bridge, and it had a set time and a beginning when it was going to end. And when that happened, great. That they said, that's done. We don't need to build the Brooklyn Bridge anymore. But what happens now is that corporations have taken over constitutional personhood. So corporations are basically people. They have the same rights as people, but they don't face the backlash of what would happen. You got a limited liability court, or you got this, or you got that. I actually believe that governments have not. I think governments haven't done the opposite of regulation. They'd rather help them climb. It's been more like fascism. Our government has enabled these corporations to blossom out of control unconstitutionally. Well, whatever. So I've been dying to have a beer with you and talk about this. Anyways, so maybe after COVID, when Bill Gates said it's okay, we can go and do that. But what we're basically both saying right now is whether it's the NSA, it's corporations or government, whether we start with a more constitutional limited form of government, which is where we have to start anyways. We're not going immediately to Ancapistan, but that's not happening. People don't even know the Constitution at all. They can't even file that on a piece of paper. So I think the Constitution's a great start, and I think we need to enforce it. While these idiots are getting paid for us to do that job, we might as well start enforcing it now. The thing is, in this form of government, a constitutional republic, it's participatory. That means we have to get involved. And whether we have an perfect Ancapistan, a shitty Ancapistan, communism, or this form of government right now, if we don't get involved, the current situation is going to occur, and it has. So Titus is telling us, hey, get off your ass from behind the keyboard, guys. Put the old anonymous mask on, or put on your COVID mask, whatever you want, dust it off, and get your ass to the NIH if you're on the East Coast, the NIH, National Institute of Health, on the East Coast, outside of DC or around DC there, or get your ass to the West Coast, Bill Gates' house. Titus went up there. I went up there, and we were like, hey, why do people get caught with child porn on your? You're supposed to be the Windows guy, and somebody on your property got caught with child porn. Hey, and now if all of a sudden Titus, and I can't say like I'm a good friend of Titus or anything like that. I've maybe met him a couple times, but if someone said to me about Titus that he's a wizard, all of a sudden, I give everybody the benefit of the doubt. I even give Andrew Cuomo the benefit of the doubt. He's a murderer, we know that, but I give everybody the benefit of the doubt because anybody can say anything at any time. So if all of a sudden they call this guy a wizard, I'll be like, you're gonna have to show me some evidence, buddy, right? Because that's a thing that people try to do to truthers. Now, Bill Gates, that's not the situation, right? If I was friends with Titus and we were boys going back, even still, I'd be like, hell no, man, whatever. But Bill Gates only became friends with Jeffrey Epstein after he was engaged in wizardry, after he got caught for it. It wasn't like, oh, maybe he's doing this, maybe not. No, he wasn't his boy from the back in the day. He only hung out with Epstein after he got caught wizarding on children. And this is the guy that CNN, MSNBC, even Fox, and that's the thing, guys. All you Trump tards, the Operation Warp Speed, Trump signed the executive order to shut all of this down. And Bill Gates, Trump, now Biden's continuing it, shut down the entire country, shut down your right to worship, shut down your right to see your family. It's absolutely crazy. And now we're still living in it. And the fall's coming around. Titus, you made a great point about what do you think is coming up for the fall? Because, or what do we have? This is almost a year and a half now. The guy that engineered all of this, he's still chilling in a fucking mansion. He's chilling in a fucking mansion. After it came out about Epstein, this is on the news, multiple things, and he's chilling in a mansion. Now, if I was wizarding 12-year-old girls and less, I would be rightly behind bars. Bill Gates is still in his mansion. You guys need to go there on the 4th, especially if it's right outside Seattle, and if you're anywhere on the East Coast, if you're in New York, you're 3 hours away. If you're in DC, you're 3 hours away. If you're in Boston, you're like 7 hours away from DC. Guys, don't be bitches. I don't want to hang out with bitches. I don't want you guys saying this stuff here. Someone said earlier, oh, you sound like an agent. How do I sound like an agent? I'd be curious to hear that. But if
I don't think you're an agent, dude.
I think they would come up with something better than this. But what do you think is happening in the future? Because like we said at the beginning of this, we're in a world that neither of us imagined. We're a year and a half in, and I'm not getting any more optimistic. I was getting optimistic for a little while when they're like, okay, oh, you can take your mask off now. And I was like, yay. I think, everyone's getting vaccinated. Maybe it won't be like it was before, but at least things are going to be okay, right?
No. I think, there's a couple of different things I think might going to happen. They've now all declared all of us never sleevers to be, domestic terrorists. So I'm expecting the CIA to drop off a package of guns and weapons in my backyard anytime soon.
Yeah.
After that, what do I think's coming up? I think probably if the Iranian regime doesn't play ball with China and Saudi Arabia in their Belt and Road project, you can expect to see a war in Iran. And in terms of the COVID nonsense, if you look at what's going on in Australia, as we enter into flu season, which is this fall, you can see what's going on in Australia start to happen in America.
You don't even hear about the flu anymore, believe it or not. It's crazy.
Yeah. Guys, this is News Now Massachusetts. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, and this is one of the weird things that we have, and I want to talk briefly about Afghanistan too, but this is one of the weird things is we have these blatant things like what do we call this stream's going down anyway, so I'm saying fuck it. We're gonna put this on Demand the Truth and all the other platforms because I cannot keep this one up and keep this channel. So guess what? Sandy Hook, we have no reported deaths. That's according to the FBI. No reported deaths on Sandy Hook. Now, last year, nobody got the flu. And the weird shit about this is it just really shows how much control these people have. I thought the media was dying, and they can get us to believe you don't need a mask. You do need a mask. Once you're vaccinated, then you don't need the mask. And then no, now you do need the mask, even if you are vaccinated. And the people that got vaccinated, they can still get it. And then now you need your booster shot. Now bend over for an anal COVID swab. So, yeah, it's just bizarre. Now, this is a question that I got for you, bro. I can't figure this one out. We got Joe Biden. He's supposed to be the dude, in theory, to come in. Okay, calm down. Trump is gone. Don't worry, guys. Everything's back to normal. We're going to build back better. We're going to get through this. We got Joe Biden out there. And he's supposed to be like the good guy. And then all of a sudden, this thing with Afghanistan doesn't make any sense to me, right? Because we're in there 20 years. And then I'm thinking that at least going back for a while, we must have had some type of military advisors, generals, people in the CIA saying, all right, well, whenever we do eventually leave, here's how we're going to do it. Let's run a computer simulation and do it this way. Let's do it. One asshole could have just said, hey, can we at least get the Americans out there? Can we at least, and then maybe the innocent civilians too? But that didn't happen. He pulled out, ran back in. Why? What is this, to make him look bad? Is he that incompetent? What the hell? Why did that happen?
Afghanistan is the graveyard of empires. Always has been, always will be. If you read any of the firsthand accounts of soldiers in the U.S. military that have served over there, they can tell you firsthand that the Afghani soldiers are extremely well trained and they know the terrain. They can move silently through the mountains, and it's just not a place that you want to go unless you go with overwhelming firepower, which they never did in that war. As Julian Assange explained years ago, the whole point of Afghanistan was to get the United States into a war that sucked the money out of the taxpayer base of the United States and funneled it into the security national elites that are building a new 5G smart city world that's on the Belt and Road Project. So the whole thing that's just taken place is you watched as America is being intentionally destroyed as they replace it with this new super state out in Eurasia. That's why, like, if you look at cities like Astana in Kazakhstan, it's like one of the most modern cities. It's one of the most modern cities in the world. They're pumping huge money into NEOM, which is going to be a new smart city down on the border of Jordan, Saudi Arabia, and Israel. So basically, Afghanistan is just another chess piece on the board that's going to allow them to build this Belt and Road project. And the Taliban is 100% on board with the Chinese in order to do this. They've even said and given the Chinese Communist Party a pass on the concentration camps for the Muslims in China. So the Taliban doesn't even care about that because the Chinese are giving them weapons and funding and helping them take Afghanistan back.
So, News Now Massachusetts, meet the legendary Titus Frost. Titus Frost, meet the legendary Beards. That is News Now Massachusetts.
Nice to meet you, man.
What's up, dude?
So, what do you think, News Now Massachusetts? We're all from the Northeast here. We're all wicked pissa here. I'm down in the Little Rhodey, so we're all relatively close here. What's your take there on all the shit I've been talking right now in Titus there?
Honestly, man, it's crazy. It's crazy. But before we jump into that, I just want to thank you again, Will, for having me. And honestly, I respect what you do, man. Honestly, I don't know. Like, I saw the thing you did with Harrison when you were confronting her. Just in general, man. Like,
Well, I appreciate you saying that. Tell people a little bit about yourself. Tell people a little bit about yourself, because you were on, and I got to get Titus. By the way, Titus, I do another radio show where I'm a co-host. Every weeknight, 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. Eastern, and it's on the Republic broadcast. We got John Stadamiller, Michael Rivero's over there, and it's syndicated. It's not the world's hugest show, but it is syndicated. It's on a few different stations, and we get a few thousand listeners on just the stream itself. So I've been wanting to get you on there. So let me know if you got a free night this week or next week. Let me know. I'd love to have you on there. But I first met this gentleman on my show, but not everybody, the crossover is not really there. So, NNM, tell people about yourself and a little bit about your story, because I'd be curious to see what Titus has to say about this also.
What part of the story? As far as what?
Well, if you maybe wanted to start like 3 or 4 months into your mother's pregnancy and then slowly go from there. No, I mean, if you just want to give people a general idea of who you are and kind of some of the shit you've been through.
All right, yeah. So, my name is Tony. So, what got me into like pretty much activists and want to do audits and whatnot. So at a young age, I got harassed a lot from the police. I don't trust them. I never have. Always had bad experience with them. So that made me want to do what I do now and always film the police and always try to educate people as well on what's going on and, stand up for your rights. And, if you don't fight for them, you're going to lose them. So I try to tell people, we have to stand up and we have to fight. And pretty much, they just film them and how, I'm just all for transparency and holding them accountable. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. Titus, it's really interesting, the whole auditing thing, because it's the only form of activism that is not only not demoted by YouTube, but is promoted. I mean, that's why my channel has 7,000 subscribers right now. It's because I do First Amendment audits as well. And otherwise I wouldn't have that at all. And so what I've been doing is I still drop truth on this channel. I'll do live streams on this channel, but I'll leave the real spicy shit for Demand the Truth too. I got like all these channels, and I think it's partially because they want that conflict between police and citizens to be butting heads. I do think it has backfired in some ways. Now, there are First Amendment auditors that will just go up and fuck you. That's your right, and you have the right to do that.
there is some that go and try to provoke them. You know what I mean? It does happen, but you know what I mean?
But the side effect is there, and I do think that there is, at least amongst First Amendment auditors, I don't think it's necessarily amongst the average citizens, but I do think there is friction there. Some cops, they'll take me aside and they'll say, hey, I love what you're doing, because I don't go up to people and originally say, fuck you, unless it's like, Hillary Clinton or Joe Biden or something like that. But I'll always be, I treat people, I'm not better than people yet. I haven't mastered this, but I give people the energy that they give me. So if you turn to a real bitch, I can do that too. And I should be above that. And I'm not, I'm just frankly not, I'm not there yet. Maybe as I mature. But what's your take on this whole First Amendment auditing thing? I think that it's having some negative effects, but I think it's also having some good effects, because there's a lot of people that'll come up to me and say, hey, I didn't even know what the fuck the Fourth Amendment was until you and Enrique brought this to my attention.
Yeah, but nobody wants to hear it over here in New York. Everyone's a Democrat, liberal, and it's like you're delusional, or our government wouldn't do this. It's crazy. You can't have I really don't like to get into politics with these people here, to be honest, because it's just a nightmare. It's literally a nightmare.
Yeah, and Titus is. What do you think about that too? And then also, Titus, the left-right thing. I mean, I know you're out in Mass, and it's a blue state. I'm here in a blue state. It's interesting to see the way the left has kind of went from hating corporations and the CIA and government to they love them now, and then the right, they've kind of almost inverted themselves. It's really weird. What do you look? And let me ask you, talk to that.
In terms of the auditing stuff, I think it's important work that's being done. I think ideally with police, what should be done with them is, since we have the technology, every police officer should have a body cam on them from the moment their shift starts to the moment their shift ends. That body camera should be accessible by the public at all times. If they're on duty and they're, in uniform, they should be filmed. And that's for their protection and for the protection of the public from them.
Let me show you how sad it is. I have to live with a GoPro either strapped on my head or on the chest. That's
Yeah.
how bad my harassment is, literally.
Yeah. And that
It's
shouldn't
sad.
it shouldn't be that way. And then if we could get to that situation where the cops are filmed by law at all times, I think, and obviously with that, like the auditors, like we need those guys also going and auditing like you do, like going up to Bill Gates's door and ringing the
Yeah,
doorbell
don't
and
just
being
audit
like,
the fucking cops. Don't just
Yeah.
audit the cops.
audit,
You got to audit Bill Gates. You got to audit the
Yeah.
Bush. I mean, like, don't just fucking audit the fucking cops. You know what I'm saying? We got to audit everybody. Everybody. They all take an oath to the Constitution. They all
Yeah.
work for us.
Right.
the problem with the cops, I think, stems from the top down because they're militarizing the police and using them to divide the country. Like they're keeping the most corrupt police officers on the force, and they're like forcing the best officers off the force. And you're going to see that it's going to get worse because now with the jabber, they're going to be like, oh, any officer that refuses the jabber has got to go, which means the absolute worst order followers will be the only ones left.
I'm glad you brought that up, Titus.
No common sense are going to be the only ones left, just the jab takers. And that's going to be in every position now, like across the federal government.
They're starting to mandate it across the government. For a while, it was,
Yeah.
I saw the tweet that you shared. There was a list of 8 places that you could still work without being vaccinated. This is getting fucking scary, guys. I'm not trying to be alarmist with you at all, but this is getting really fucking scary. Like, what this may not be a civil war, and I don't think it is a civil war, but I mean, you're gonna see a restructuring because
it may well develop into one, and that's the problem, and that's what we need to try to avoid happening. Is this divisive bullshit has got to come to an end because the vast majority of people agree with us.
Yeah, and what I already see happening is the people that are going to stay in New York City, they're going to stay in New York City. Even the New York Times, though, has reported that everybody with the business is going to Florida or Texas.
Everybody's leaving.
Everybody's leaving, so you're going to see it. It's not going to be north-south. It's not going to be a line, but you're going to see New Hampshire is going to be a red and guys, New Hampshire's an awesome state too, guys. That's where the Free State Project originated, and it still continues their work to this day. Anybody that doesn't know what the Free State Project is, there are a bunch of libertarians that got together and said, what state would be the best to non-violently take over? And they've been doing that now for, I think, a decade or so. I don't know. Yeah, and then New York, and now all these federal agencies, this is getting crazy. You either get the jab or you don't. People are losing their jobs. The heroes of last year, first of all, we didn't even think we'd be where we were last year. And now the same people that were heroes last year, they're getting kicked out.
That's why they rushed it. They rushed to approve it because they know now they can actually push their agenda and force it upon people. You know what I mean?
But as like a private business, I had this talk because I run a small family private business and we have employees, and we had the discussion about this. And it's like, as a small business, if you mandate the vaccines for your employees and one of them has one of these bad side effects, a lifetime disabling side effect, they can sue the shit out of your private business as someone, as an employee.
Not the vaccine makers. Your business. How
the hospitals are lying. Everyone is filling up the hospitals because of the vaccine. They're not telling the truth.
Yeah, and they want the private business owners to take all of the fucking liability for this shit as always.
Of
like
course.
Pfizer's never going to get sued, but if my private business mandates the vaccines for the employees and one of them has gets disabled, my private business gets sued. Pfizer's got immunity.
They should be holding. Yeah. They should be liable. I agree.
And the government's like, oh, private business mandate this stuff. It's like, no, we're not taking on that liability. You got to be insane. Are we immune from, lawsuits if we put out that, mandate that? That's crazy. And for businesses to mandate that, for them to come out and say supermarkets are essential, therefore they need to remain open during a pandemic. And then for them to come out and say, you can't buy or sell at supermarkets if you don't have a vaccine. That's completely ridiculous. They can't block you from an essential business and be like, oh, well, it's, a private business thing. Not if you declared it essential a year ago. It's just crazy.
And that's the whole problem with all this. The government can't decide what's essential or what's not. And you've got these stupid ass liberals, and I hate the Republicans just as much, but these liberals went from hating Big Pharma. They went from being organic, vegan, hating Monsanto, hating corporations. Guys, hey, liberals, take a look at this right here. Pfizer has been a, quote, habitual offender, persistently engaging in illegal and corrupt marketing practices, bribing physicians, and suppressing adverse trial results. I'm going to read the first sentence again. Pfizer has been the habitual offender, persistently, not once, twice, but persistently engaging in legal and corrupt marketing practices, bribing physicians, and suppressing adverse trial results. Since 2002, the company and its subsidiaries have been assessed $3 billion in criminal convictions, civil penalties, and jury awards. This is the company that just got approved. This is the company that people are getting tattooed on their arm. This is the company, guys. I don't understand how things flip this quickly, but I think it's a testament to. And this is another question I wanted to ask you guys. Right? This is what it really all boils down to. So forget the politics shit. For a while, there was the Edward Bernays, the Aldous Huxley, the propagandists. For a while, we had maybe a few different forms of brainwashing. Maybe back in the 50s, it was only one. But now, I mean, there was always left-right brainwashing. People had different, beliefs, but we were all kind of chill with each other. But now in the age of, ever since Trump came, it's inverted people's politics. And it's also shown me that the government, these people have no beliefs on either side, because we've witnessed in the age of Trump things that were classically Republican switch, things that are classically Democrat switch, and then now the goalpost with COVID is just like they change the shit every day, and people they'll still go with the team, they'll still go with the brainwashing, and now I feel like there's different forms of brainwashing. You got the QAnon brainwashing, you got the regular right wing, the regular left wing. Who is concocting this shit? Do you even agree with me on that? And how do we get people out of this malaise that they're in? Because I'm the unflinching optimist out of everybody, and I'm getting pissed pissed off Canadian. That's how I feel right now.
Well, I mean, I think if you take a look at who's controlling the output of information, you have to look at the high-tech centers of Israel, and they control both the left and the right. So when you look at this controlled demolition that we're watching of America, this clown world that gets crazier and crazier every day, like every time you go to Andy No, one of these Zionist, controlled opposition dudes on Twitter, he's got all these videos of Antifa fighting with Proud Boys, like constantly, and it's just like this designed demolition of the United States by getting the two opposing sides that just destroy each other instead of going after the bankers.
That's what it is, guys. It's the bankers. That's really who's running the shit, and always has been. And people need to forget that. Not forget that. That's the biggest thing. Titus Frost, it's great to audit your local police station, make sure they're adhering to the Constitution. Take a walk down to the Federal Reserve. Give them an audit. They've never been audited. And that's the real power center. They've usurped control, them, the Bilderberg Group. And it's just really weird that I'm watching this all play out in front of me. Like I said, I thought this would be years in the future. News Now Mass, what's your take on that question?
Wait, I'm sorry, I wasn't even listening, man. My bad.
Yeah, I'm not the most captivating person to hear. What's your prospects of what's coming up? Because I see there's a lot of brainwashing, and people are just gonna believe whatever. Like if you're on the left, you're gonna believe what Now This and Rachel Maddow tell you, and you're gonna read, and you're gonna love Chelsea Handler. And if you're on the right, I mean, I went up to Antifa, and I'm like, okay, you guys hate, you guys are socialists, right? They're like, yeah. And then they were like, I'm going back and forth with them, and I was like, all right, you guys are socialists, right? And they're like, yeah, we hate the Nazis. Those guys over there, they're the Nazis. I was like, do you guys know that the Nazi Party that stands for the National Socialist Workers' Party of Germany, that the Nazis were socialists? And then they start to fight me. And then when you go to Trump's side, the thin blue line, people wave the thin blue line and the Trump and all this other shit. I'm like, hey, do you guys realize that? So what do you guys think? What are you guys out here for protesting? Well, we're supporting our thin blue line or local cops. What do you think about the cops following every single law that Governor Baker in Massachusetts gives, and all these cops just blindly following these illegal orders? Well, yeah. Well, what do you think of Trump's? Well, what do you think about Trump hiring Wilbur Ross, who bailed him out in the 80s, as a Rothschild banker and Jeffrey Epstein buddy, or Steve Bannon, Jeffrey Epstein buddy, or William Barr?
I agree with you 100%.
And then they were like, well, he's not. Well, Joe Biden. What? Don't tell me you're one of those Joe Biden guys. And they're like, no, actually, I've confronted Joe Biden 4 times and called him a pervert. And these guys are still tripping over their own brainwashing. How do we smack these people out of their malaise? Do we have to give them like one of those big Bugs Bunny kisses? What do we have to do here?
I'm not sure, man.
Well, that's a good answer, because I don't really know anyways. That's why I'm asking you guys. I mean,
I'm here taking all the knowledge from you guys. You know what I mean? I'm just here observing, trying to take the knowledge here as well.
Titus, what do you want to talk about? We still got a little bit of time. I'm going to go to the comments real quick. We got Base Titus Frost here. We got, let's see what these guys are saying. Eustace Mullins, yeah, he was OG calling it from back in the day. They feed the dichotomy that devours them with zealous fervor. Wow, very well said, Nicole. You need to start doing some shows instead of me just ranting and raving. Nicole, what's your channel? Okay, more importantly, press 1 in the chat if you are coming to the NIH or Bill Gates house on September 4th. Press 2 in the chat if you love Hitler. All I want to know is who's coming with. Liam, are you coming to the protest September 4th? We're going to Bill Gates' house if you're on the West Coast. If not, we're going to the NIH, the National Institute of Health. Yep, that's right. The office of Dr. Fauci.
I wish I could go. I really wish I could go.
There's some people that obviously, you know what I'm saying, you have a cane. That's because of your work. You're a pimp. You smack hoes up and you collect money.
Nah, not even that. Just being framed, you know what I mean? And I'm like on bogus as probation now, so I can't even leave the state. So I would go with you guys in a heartbeat, man. Protest, absolutely.
I'd say that's legit reasons there.
You know the situation with, you know, with Wareham. So
okay, now we're talking Mexican righteous. Where is Bill Gates' house? That's right. And now again, Maddie's saying she was unsubscribed to my channel. Wow, shock.
You're out of Wareham, you said?
No. That's the court that framed me. Actually.
Okay. Yeah, I used to live over near there.
I used to live in Plymouth. Plymouth, but Carver. I don't know if you're familiar with that area. Carver, Plymouth area.
Yeah,
like
I just moved from Plymouth, head of the bay, to Falmouth. So now I'm down in Falmouth.
Yeah, I know where that's
Excuse me, Titus. Titus has led one up out here. Nice.
Yeah. Cryptocurrency, dude. You got to get into cryptocurrency.
Dude, and you know what? That's a good point that you bring up, because Titus Frost, I sent this video out to a bunch of people. Let me pull it up in a sec, and I'll put it actually in the show notes. Let me make a note to do that because I'm very forgetful. But Titus Frost has a video called Crypto for Newbies or something to that effect. Maybe if you want to talk about that a little bit, I'll say this real quickly. First, I'll say Bill Gates' house is right outside of Seattle, Washington. The address is Googleable. I will give it to you, Mexican righteous. The Glam, I want to see you there. Bus drummer, I want to see you there. But one of my cousins made $160,000 off the crypto market, and he moved and got a nice house. So, and you know what? Crypto might be the answer. News Now Mexico, because my gears are turning, because everybody in my family, I talked about before you jumped on, Will, you're crazy. Will, you're this. I honestly had one of my uncles say to me, Will, remember when you were little and you thought the Ninja Turtles were real? This is what this feels like. And I'm like, whoa. First of all, I never believed that they were real. However, it is possible due to certain types of mutagen. I mean, it could happen, but I never really believed the Ninja Turtles were real. And then I'm a grown man saying, well, yeah, there was 2 buildings and 3 planes and, 2 planes and 3 buildings. And they were like, do you believe in the Ninja Turtles, dog? And so I've gotten disinvited to my family. I remember actually talking to my grandma, and she was asking me last year, Will, are you going to get the vaccine? I told her last year, I said, Grandma, Bill Gates is a child rapist. He's hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein. He's doing all this shit. I don't want to hear it. But now, the last time I was with my family, it was me. I don't want to rat out people in my family, but it was the crypto people, and all the adults were paying attention to us. Now, it was the first time that they were asking us questions. So yeah, let's talk about the crypto world. Can you introduce crypto to newbies? Because that, and also I wanted to add on to what you're saying about the body cams. They need to stay on, and now they mute the body cams, because I FOIA body cams, I FOIA tons of shit. I've been FOIAing a ton of shit lately, not just police, but they'll mute the body cams sometimes. What I had an idea for a blockchain project, and people just steal it at this point because nobody's helping me. Another blockchain project would be a mix between Yelp and Pokemon Go. And we audit all the police stations, and then you put like a directory of good or bad cops and the interactions that you have. And how you win a gym is when you secure the Constitution there. You have a good relationship with the police, and that's what's going on. Sorry, I even forgot the original point that I was asking you guys.
That's actually not a bad idea for an application that you could build on an existing blockchain platform. So if you wanted, you could do something like, a system of the police, and then in each region you could have a different voting scale, and then based on how each department performed, they could get a bonus or they could get hit with a fine.
Ooh,
you know what I'm saying?
That's cool. Yeah,
that could actually work. You could easily do that with a blockchain system. Like, that's not a hard thing to build, but you'd need some developers to do that. For like newbies getting into cryptocurrency, I made a video that is for people that have no money, but they want to get into cryptocurrency.
I'm gonna find it.
So basically, like, if you use the various platforms that I showed you on there, you'll start making cryptocurrency for free, and then you can use that cryptocurrency to go out and start investing and stuff like that. But I've never like put any hard currency into crypto, but I got into it in 2015 and started earning it for free. And now, because it's all gone up so much since then, it's worth quite a bit. But it's easy to make for free. Like, you can make, for every video I put out, you can make like good money just by walking. There's apps that if you have them on your phone, you can get paid in crypto every day just for walking. So I mean, it's an easy way to make extra currency, basically. So, and I think for people that are looking for cryptocurrency in the future, I think when you saw Bitcoin hit 65K, I've been in Bitcoin since it was 300 a coin. You're not going to see like the massive gains in crypto from Bitcoin that you're going to see from the altcoins. But you can't get into like shit coins. You have to pick up like decent platforms like Pirate Chain, which is the most anonymous cryptocurrency.
Tell people about what Pirate Chain does, because I think it's pretty cool.
So it uses zero proofs, ZK Snarks technology, which is the most advanced privacy coin out there. So it completely hides your transactions. So whereas Bitcoin is a track and trace coin, every Bitcoin transaction, there's a public ledger for it. You can go look at the public blockchain. Anyone can go look at that. I can see how much Bitcoin you have in your wallet. I can see every transaction you've done with your Bitcoin wallet. Pirate Chain takes all of that data away. So if you go to like my Pirate Chain wallet, you have no idea how much money's in it. You have no idea what transactions I've done. And that's from this brand new technology of ZK Snarks, which is, Monero was the previous best privacy coin. And this is about 100 to 500 times more private in terms of its anonymity rating than Monero is. So it's very, very, I think it's going to go from, maybe a couple dollars a coin to $1,000 a coin in a couple of years, when people realize how much economic privacy is actually important. Because the World Economic Forum, Joe Biden, all these communists are coming for all of your money. And the only way you're going to be able to hide that money is either in cash under your mattress, gold in a chest, or privacy coins, right? So.
Yeah, I think that the blockchain sphere in general now is like the Wild West. There's they got the huge corporations in there, and then you got people like Titus Frost in there who care about privacy, and they actually are using it as a powerful tool, and that's like a place that's like another fight right there too. That's a whole nother thing. We need to stake our flag in the ground out in the blockchain realm too before all these corporations do. Titus, let's switch gears one more time, and I appreciate you taking all this time with me. Can we talk about this whole Epstein ring and what's going on with that now? Because you're one of the forerunners. People, I remember again bringing my family. People were saying, "Will, you're crazy. This and that. Pizzagate." Well, I can't timestamp this and prove this, but I used to be able to do this before Titus Frost's main channel with millions and millions and millions and millions of views on it got taken down. And I highly recommend this documentary. I can't find this other one, but I've watched this one. I've watched Titus Frost, The Unanswered Questions, Pizzagate, The Unanswered Questions, part 1 and 2, way more times. Part 3 less, but part 1, 2, and 3. I actually added all up. I've watched at least on the low end 10,000 documentaries in my day. Pizzagate, The Unanswered Questions. I'm going to write that. I'm going to put that in the chat for you guys too. Parts 1, 2, and 3. Titus Frost makes all the connections. Titus Frost is one of the original Pizzagate researchers, and people say, "Oh, Pizzagate is debunked. There's no such thing as Pizzagate." In that documentary, which I think came out originally in 2016, you were talking about Jeffrey Epstein and his ties to the Podestas and the Trumps and the Clintons. That was 3 years at least ahead of before anybody in the news knew who Jeffrey Epstein was. So people were saying Pizzagate is fake. We have none of the victims really getting any justice whatsoever. What's the current state of Pizzagate, the Epstein scandal, and child trafficking in general in today?
It's gotten really bad. I know people think that like, oh, it's been shut down because the Epstein ring, whatever. That's a bunch of nonsense. They've just shifted operations. All of the clientele remain at large for the most part. The guy who financed the Epstein thing, Leslie Wexner, still at large. All of the largest clients are at large. Ghislaine Maxwell is not even, being forced to reveal who her co-conspirators are. So they have the complete cover-up going on. And then if you take a look at the avenues for child trafficking, where they get the kids from, which is, the worst place is the border. And if you take a look at what's going on down there at the border right now, you have massive, massive child trafficking going on at the U.S. border. And Joe Biden's administration has changed the laws down there so that they can't go after these guys. Joe Biden was mentioned heavily in the Pizzagate thing because of his sniffing of kids and like blatantly doing it right on camera, where it's just like right out in plain sight. And yeah, the reason like those documentaries are so important. And then the one I did this year, wrapping it all together, is so important, is that these rings are all the same thing. So the Pizzagate ring, the Jeffrey Epstein ring, the NXIVM ring are all connected together financially. And that's all proven in those documentaries. It's not, me saying it's a conspiracy. It actually is a conspiracy that we've connected together, and it's a syndicate. So it's a criminal syndicate, and the monetary evidence is there. The financial evidence is there. The documents are there. We have submitted hard evidence to the police that they've ignored, and it is what it is. The same DCMPD that covered up Pizzagate just got $2 billion after participating in the January 6th false flag. I mean, if you can think about that. So the same exact police department that covered up this pedophile ring just participated in another false flag, which was January 6th, and they got $2 billion in funding after that. So this is where we're at, basically. It's not good.
Yeah, I as soon as Epstein got arrested, and now Ghislaine, nobody's even seeing Ghislaine at this point, and yeah, none of these other people are really being held to anything. So what I do is I verify people that are on Epstein's, like, verified cohorts of Epstein, Black Book, floating around with him, pictures, like more than just like a casual acquaintance. And for example, Seth Magaziner, he's the general treasurer in Rhode Island. Or I'll comment on Chelsea Handler's comedian stuff. I'll say, hey, Chelsea, can you tell us about a joke about your friends Andrew Cuomo, Woody Allen, and Jeffrey Epstein? Or I'll say, hey, Chris Tucker, can you do a joke about flying around the world with Jeffrey Epstein on Facebook or on Twitter? Because nobody else is asking these people any real questions. And these disgusting perverts that I see in my face on the screen, they're flying free everywhere and anywhere. It's really rules for it's a whole different lifestyle for these people. And I mean, Titus Frost went above and beyond documenting all these connections, and people thought that, and that's what truly Pizzagate is. It's not just one. It's not James Alefantis. I mean, he's even a small fry when it comes to all. I mean, when it comes to all this, but he's just another cog in the wheel. As Titus said, you've got connections between NXIVM, you've got connection between Richard Branson, Epstein, Transformer DC, which is Alefantis. You have John of God, Weinstein. Every single one of these separate Hollywood, every single one of those things, they're all in cahoots. They all pop up over and over and over again. And one of the things that I thought was really interesting that I caught one of Memory Hole's streams. He's another guy that I catch all the stuff. There's a lot of people I watch a lot of their stuff, but you guys, there's a few other channels, but the information that you guys have is very important. Yeah, if you could mute up for 1 second, use now. Take a look at this. This is originally 2016. He's bringing up Jeffrey Epstein on screen, Bill Clinton, Kevin Spacey, Chris Tucker, even Donald Trump, Ghislaine Maxwell. Nobody heard of Ghislaine Maxwell at that time. Nobody knew who she was at that time. Besides the daughter of Robert Maxwell, most people don't even know now who that person is. But the connections that are here are quite crazy. And if people would look, I put the link to this documentary here in the chat, as well to Titus's BitChute channel. Titus, I want to get you on my show one of these days. I'll send you a text, let me know. What else, if anything else, are you looking at? Because I was just saying, that's what Memory Hole was saying, is you look at Epstein, and he went back and looked up Epstein's old websites on the Wayback Machine, and if we found out that he was a member of the Rockefeller Foundation, the Council on Foreign Relations, and the Trilateral Commission. This literally everything that Titus and I have been saying for years is, hey, there's a bunch of pedophiles. They're all involved in Bilderberg, Trilateral Commission, Rockefellers, and the Council on Foreign Relations. And you guys are like, you guys are stupid and crazy. Now it's all come out, and now things are even worse. We're locked in our houses. What else do you think is important to talk about before? What's on your radar, Titus?
Well, I mean, in terms of these networks, I think we have to expose what's going on down at the southern border because it's gotten so bad down there. No one's really mentioning it, but the child trafficking has gone just absolutely off the charts. And then in terms of other islands, we have our eyes, the eyes of Sauron, of the truth community, of the pirate crew are on Necker Island down there with Richard Branson. And he's held NXIVM parties on his island. I'm in contact with people who have worked there, possibly still work there. We have people that, sail by the island and take video, possibly drone footage. And we've been documenting what ships go to and from with AIS tracking software. So, I think Necker Island is probably one of the next ones that you might hear about in the news of them, raiding, maybe possibly arresting Richard Branson for being involved in this type of nonsense.
Really?
Yeah, definitely.
That surprised me because he's still all over the news with his Virgin Galactic over there.
Well, that's the one thing that we see constantly is the application of Salic law, where these guys get embarrassed publicly, they have financial losses, but they don't get criminally charged. So that is one worry constantly, is that you have another Bill Gates situation where, yeah, all of his connections to Epstein were made public, but then nothing actually happened to Bill Gates. He's still free to do whatever he wants, no criminal charges.
Yeah, it's really sad. And so I want to spend a little time here with Tony too, because I got a half hour before my show. I want to get Tony's story out as well too. But I think it's really important that everyone go over the link to Titus Frost are in the description. His BitChute channel is there, as well as Pizzagate the Unanswered Questions Part 1. And that's what's playing on screen right now. This is like I said, I mean, look, Tam Lozada. I mean, look at this. Who wants to have fun, raw, uncut with my little baby? Oh, by the way, I work for the Clintons. Oh, I work for the Rockefellers. I mean, it's the same shit you see coming over and over and over again, guys. And oh, nice memory hole. We were just talking about you, brother. Memory hole, welcome to the stream. Yes, guys. It's important. Let's all be at Bill. If you're on the West Coast, I command you to be at his house. It's right outside Seattle, Washington. Anybody can Google the address. If you can Google it, then I'll give it to you. Just inbox me. Go to Find Fake Mike Real News on all platforms. That's how you can do it. And then if you're on the East Coast, we're going to go to the National Institute of Health on September 4th. That's right outside of DC. That's Dr. Fauci's lab. Titus, how can we not only connect to you there, but also it really upsets me that not enough people have donated to Titus Frost to make him a full-time journalist. I know he's got a family business and all this other stuff, but would you rather have Rachel Maddow out there or Titus Frost? Can we get Titus Frost enough crypto so that he can just sail the digital seas and go out to these places in real life? How can people donate to you? I mean, obviously I want everyone to share all of your work in your BitChute channel and everything, but how can people donate to the captain?
Yeah, just don't send me money. I want people, if you got extra cash, go to top level content creators and tell them with super chats in their things, they'll respond to that. Support don't put my name in it. Just put in the super chat, go support the September 4th protest against COVID-19 84 at Bill Gates's house and Dr. Fauci's office or something like that. And then, somehow direct people towards the protest we have coming up. Like that, just direct people to that and do that on top level content creators. Like these guys that have like 1,000 something people watching them live, because they will respond to it. And then that'll be a way we get more people to get eyes on it. Because I'm never going to get to, like, I'm running a family business. There's no way I'm going to be able to drop that and, do the full-time truther thing. So the money would be best spent on getting more people aware of the protest we have coming up.
Yeah, and is there? It's tough with the Facebook link for an event because they always end up taking that shit down. But either way, guys, spread it through word of mouth. Either way, is there a Facebook event for this or?
There's a hive.blog post for it. So it's on my hive.blog, blog basically, which is my website. So there's a post there with all the details, and hive.blog is decentralized. So they'll never take anything on hive.blog down, which is why I use it, because it's a blockchain decentralized platform. And like, for instance, Pastebin took down my Pastebin of all Bill Gates's emails. I had like 50 of Bill Gates's email accounts, and I put that up on Pastebin, and Pastebin took that down, but they don't take that down on Hive. So on hive.blog, it's decentralized, it's blockchain, it's locked in. You post something there, it's locked in forever. It's like archive.is. So it's like the internet concrete of show notes, basically.
Yeah, and in my show notes right now are Titus Frost links, and you can go to his BitChute channel, which is in the links below, and then all you have to do is read the description there, and it'll give the links to his Hive and everything. He sources the shit out of everything. Me, I don't. I know Titus gets mad sometimes. Oh, you guys don't even put the link in the description. You assholes.
I'm always saying that about people that do this shit and get paid like thousands of dollars a week.
I just like, you guys, I'm showing him the shit on screen. If you guys can't Google this shit yourselves, I mean, but it's good that you do that. It's honestly way better, and it's good the way you do the show, because when you come across shit that you want to think, you'll either put it on your Hive, and then it's there to cover. So it's a much more organized way to do things for sure.
Yeah, when I'm going off about people like that, generally I'm talking about like someone that has like 100,000 subscribers and doesn't take the time to put, they do it full time and they don't take the time to put show notes in. And that's frustrating. It's like, dude, you're getting paid good money to do this truther stuff. At least have the respect to put the show notes there for people that want to research and make sure what you're saying is legitimate.
Yeah, for the people that get paid to do it, there's no excuse. I mean, I took a nap. That's why I responded to your text a little late, because I worked, and then I worked a little extra, and then I took a nap. I don't want to be doing this shit. Nobody wants to be doing this shit. Like, what are you going to do? So,
yeah.
Titus, man, thank you very much for taking your time and coming on, man. It's very valuable. And guys, go to support Titus Frost. Tell him good old fake Mike sent you. And stay tuned to my radio show, because Titus is going to be blessing us over there. And that's a good place, too, because we can say whatever the hell we want except for shit and fuck. So it's good. That's a good place to talk. So.
All right, dude. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it very much.
Nice to meet you, man. Take care. Be safe.
Yes, man.
Nice to meet you as well.
Titus is one of the legends in this game, man. And it's awesome to have him blessing the chat and coming out here. It's really fucking cool. This guy is one of the people that incessantly documents everything. I mean, look at the screen right now. There's no pictures of him. This is WikiLeaks. These are these people's websites. This is all their information there. So, guys, I really, really want you to support Titus Frost. And part of the reason I do this channel, and I even do auditing in the first place too, is because we need to have a balance of everything. And part of the thing we were just talking about is these people in positions of power and what's happening there. And these people in positions of power have been abusing and targeting people like our guest, News Now Massachusetts. So correct me if I'm wrong, but you started out just a regular person. You're kind of bothered and harassed by corrupt police. You started auditing, and then things got a little bit worse, right? Can you break that down for folks?
Yeah, sure. So, I didn't really get into like filming until I got harassed. So, I got harassed so bad to the point that I said enough was enough, and then I just started recording the police. And this, for the record, is Holbrook, Massachusetts, and Braintree Police Department. These two towns are in Massachusetts.
Yeah, I'm gonna just grab another bottle of water. Break down what happened with those two police departments, and I'll give them a call once I come back from getting the water when you fill them in. Like 30 seconds.
You're awesome, dude. So yeah, these.
What's your experiences with those guys? And what happened?
So I always got harassed or pulled over constantly. They would give me stories like, we ran your license plate. It didn't show that, it was active, your registration. Let me check another system. There's only one system through the DMV. So they were harassing me as far as that goes. Also constantly looking just for something to frame me or harass me. So these people, Holbrook Police Department have illegally blacklisted me on a FISA list through the FISA courts in Washington.
So
And,
tell us about that too, because I think that's interesting, and not a lot of people maybe even know what FISA courts are. And I was surprised that you would even be there. So
right. So how this works, they don't really need a lot of evidence or a due process, no fair trial to even prove that you're a candidate to be on a terrorist watch list. So the law enforcement can just legally put anyone on this Homeland Security list, and it funds the police departments. City Hall is getting funded. You got Citizens on Patrol is also being funded. These people are making a lot of money, getting paid in gift cards, gifted vehicles, apartments, free houses. It's disgusting. I mean, they usually use, also using their kids to take part in this domestic terrorism in the United States against their own people. So,
and it's also unconstitutional. The FISA court, that's the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. It has nothing to do with United States citizens whatsoever. So the fact that you can get put in the entire Department of Homeland Security is unconstitutional for that matter. And so the fact that for exercising your God-given rights, which is your responsibility in this government, you get put on a list by Homeland Security. I mean, how did you even figure that out? Like, because that's an insane shit. Like, how does that?
Well, when everything was going on and all the the weird stuff, and just plus knowing people in my family, like I do have family that's in law enforcement, and I just had like good sources and good connections, like as far as private investigators and stuff like that. So I was able to say, all right, all right, I know what's going on, and these people are, doing what they're doing. So.
Yeah, and you know what we're gonna do too? We're gonna separately do some FOIAing real quick. So we're gonna FOIA some of these guys. And we'll FOIA Department of Homeland Security. I might just do my version and do your version off air because I don't want to dox you or your last name or anything like that. But I'll do an example one on air so people can see, so they can do it for themselves. Right. And then you and I, we can do that off air because I don't want to dox people. But yeah, this is a common theme. And when you were on the radio show with V and myself the other night, V told me afterwards, he was like, Will, that's one of the best TI guests you've ever gotten on the show. That's the best TI guest you've ever gotten on the show. And it's like, when I mean, even me, I'm not a TI. So, I mean, I'm like in a small way. People just do shit to piss me off. I'm not a TI by any stretch of the imagination. But when I hear V and other TIs and you talking in the synchronicity, because I've heard his story and I've heard others, and then when I have you on, and you're saying some of the same things. Tell people about some of the things that these folks will do to people.
All right. So the harassment is so extreme. So these people will go out their way to drive during the day. Like it can be 80 or 100 degrees outside, bright as day, sunny. They'll drive around with their lights on, which is considered domestic terrorism. It's a technique that they use as a fear tactic. To induce fear and try to scare you. So they'll follow you with one headlights. They also send like people that are, they'll send people to like bend down in front of you, get really close in your, personal space. They'll spit near you. They'll try to provoke you. So get in an argument and maybe possibly a fight. and they're protected by the police, so you would go to jail and nothing would happen to the stalker, the perpetrator that's harassing you. So, and they'll also use their kids. I mean, I got this whole program mapped out. I mean, it became a full-time job for me, literally. Like, it's like I have to, you know, be a detective myself and document everything. So these people, you know, use their kids too, and it's disgusting. It's really disgusting.
Absolutely. Fickle Art is asking if they can join. We only got 20 minutes, not even 20 minutes left because I got to start doing my show. If you want to call into the radio show, where I'm going to be doing a radio show in about 20 minutes, and I'll give you guys the link for that, and you guys can call in the radio show and we can talk about whatever you want. The only thing is it's an actual radio show. It's syndicated, so you can't say the F word. You can't say shit. You can say bitch and ass. That's cool. But you can't say the, you know, like the George Carlin 7 things you can't say. But as long as you don't say like cunt and fuck, you can say pretty much whatever you want. So, and if you're in the UK, that's fine too, because we can get you a Skype link. So
is this for V?
No, this is for somebody in the chat asking if they can join. Shout outs to Fickle Art. Official Art, but
no, I know you said you had to do a radio show, so I was asking, are you doing it with V again tonight, or?
Yeah, me and V do a show every single night, Monday through Friday. Right. Sometimes our Fridays are repeats. Not gonna lie, it's at 5 a.m. his time, so
all right, that's cool.
He's out in Europe, so sometimes we'll run a replay on Friday because our show is the last show too, and it kind of gives our producer Mike he can get out a little bit early on the weekend because he. He does all the shows behind the scenes. So he's back there with all these people. So let's do this here. How? Fickle Art, Official Art. How do I even say your thing? I'm of the UK. Okay, so I'll get you the Skype link. DM me on Telegram. By the way, I have a Telegram, Fake Mike Real News. By the way, this is not for me to self-promote, but not this stream. But find me on fakemikerealnews.com. So this is, we'll make a call too. I think we have a few minutes for a call. But more importantly, even than the call is this. I'm definitely gonna do the call sooner or later, but is this. People want and need to know how to FOIA. So I just Googled, I'll do it again, DHS, Department of Homeland Security, FOIA. We can all do this. So, boom, the first thing, most of them are gonna be .gov. That's a dead giveaway. Not all. Some of them are like .chicago or something like that. But you know, .gov's a good giveaway, and it's the first one that comes up. Request, boom, okay. So let's go. I've never done one with Homeland Security. So
I know when I started the FBI one, it was just pretty much your name, address, social. I think it was Social Security they asked as well. What else? Yeah, I mean, a lot of these, technically, according to FOIA, we don't have to even provide any of that. You can be anonymous. You can give an anonymous email. There are certain ones, like if you're requesting certain FOIAs that can't be done electronically, or and they have to print it or make CDs or some shit like that, then yeah, they might be able to charge you. Let's see. Submit a FOIA request right here. That's where I am. So you're gonna mail it, right? I'm guessing you're gonna like print the form, fill it out, and mail it.
You can mail it. I mean, a lot of and this. I'm glad you brought this up because this is a good point here. We can mail these things for sure. You can mail things. You can submit a FOIA at City Hall. You can submit if you're trying to FOIA City Hall. You can walk up into. I mean, if they reopen the FBI and ask for a FOIA right there. Art Official. That's what I figured. That's what it was. But I'm an idiot.
Every government established has their own FOIA forms that you can FOIA, correct? Yeah.
Absolutely. Right. And so what I do is I'll just Google NSA FOIA. I'll Google, you know, what I did one for, what was it, New York PD, and I Googled the all the information on Tupac and the shooting and everything out there, and they still got a few months to get back to me. It's different laws, different states. But it's best to do it in person if you can. Well, not everybody can do that. Submit it. And now you can submit them all from online. But what you're going to want to do too, which is even better than this, and audit them. Shout out to Audit Them. everyone's favorite auditor who encouraged you to audit. Damn, he makes a great point, which is not only file a FOIA here with the official website, but draft a letter or email. So it's, oh my gosh. Okay, here we go. Because a lot of these places, this is my first time doing one for Department of Homeland Security. A lot of time it'll just be like a form that you submit. This is what you want, blah, 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 blah. This is what, boom. But this is saying it doesn't have an automated form, but it's actually even better, because this right here is the component contact information, and you're going to want to specifically look up, for better results, the FOIA officer, because there is somebody in every part of the department that's responsible for public records or FOIA requests. There is somebody that's responsible for that. So if you just submit one online, yeah, the work would be great, but it's a lot better if you can have the accountability and a name and a person that you can contact, right? So I go over here. Here's a FOIA. So actually there is a portal, right? So this is the FOIA online portal, right? So we can do it online, right? And see, they want you to do it online. You should do them both, right? But let's see, that's a privacy art. So I'm guessing, holy smoke, I'm guessing these people have different contacts. Okay, perfect. So if you're looking for civil liberties, maybe and don't give up easy. Sometimes they're gonna say, hey, you got this FOIA and we didn't have any records, what you're looking for. Maybe that's not because you're asking correctly. Sometimes they'll be helpful and say, hey, you might want to try this for your search. Sometimes they just won't say shit because they don't want to give you information.
So what I hear from a lot of TIs or Karen Stewart usually comes back with like, we can't give you any information, or we don't have any information as far as being on the FISA list. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. So I'll roll the dice.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't expect, and that's the thing too, is that's the thing. They're not necessarily apt to give out this information, but right. We got to press them on that. And you're right. You're not necessarily going to get a response, but that doesn't mean give up. That does not mean give up on this information, because they have the information. And there's some people that found out that they were on a Homeland Security list. They found out when they were going to take a flight. And they're like, oh, shit, yeah, so you're not going on this flight, dog, because somebody randomly in an unconstitutional agency of a government, unconstitutionally, extrajudicially, and illegally, immorally, just subverted your rights and prevented you from doing business, from traveling. They violated your rights up and down. And that's what these folks do to us. So I really want people to get out there. So I'm just going to do the request here online, because we've got a few minutes here before I have to go to my show. So there's the portals. It's FOIA online. All right, well, I don't know why this is loading so bad. I do pay for the top internet there. Okay, great. All right, so this is a quick search of all that's over there. Get real-time reporting. Search. Okay, so you can search. This is okay.
They try to. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. They try to make it so difficult for someone.
The most difficult I've ever seen, honestly.
To not want to do it and to just give up. They make it so difficult for someone not. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's not intuitive. It's not intuitive at all. And I've done many FOIA and public requests, and this is by far the most obfuscated and difficult one. Report type. Okay. Look, and the first thing they have is. Oh, they're actually looking. This is actually, no, create a request. Yeah, see, what am I doing? I'm not even know what I'm doing. Idiot. I'm not an idiot anymore. Sorry. The law of attraction is real. I'm a reluctant leader now. All right, agency selection. Let's take a pick. Maybe FEMA, National Archives, Social Security, Commerce. This took me to a whole different website. This has nothing to do here with Department of Homeland Security. This literally just took me to a FOIA online, which is separate from things. Wow, yeah, they're making it tough. All right, select agency. What the hell? This is not even Department of Homeland Security. This is a difficult one. All right, let's see. What the fuck?
Agency request types. That's crazy. Yeah, the one on the FBI was easy, and then the last step, I think it was like 8 out of the steps. Number 6, they want to do like a fee waiver, but I don't know what they actually want. you to write in that box. They don't really tell you.
I'm not giving up yet. I don't care if I have to go on my show while I'm doing this. This is crazy. Department of Homeland Security. It isn't crazy. I mean, our ancestors stormed the beaches of Normandy, and I'm getting frustrated because I can't Google something easily enough in 10 minutes. So it's hard. We're making it seem like it's hard, but it's not. This is like the most difficult one. So, yeah, can I put FOIA there next? Maybe. Jeez, FOIA office. Oh man, let's see what happens when you put that. Yeah, I'm no rocket surgeon here. FOIA contact information. Let's see how to make FOIA requests. That's FOIA online. Okay, but we went to FOIA online. It wasn't there. I don't even know what these acronyms mean. USCIS. Okay, this is FEMA. Okay, here we go. ICE. Okay. Here we go. See, it's not the first one that says FOIA. It's the Department of Homeland Security Public Access link. Okay. Register. You can use page. Register. Please submit all through registering to create an online profile. So they want you to register. This is you can be anonymous and do a FOIA. This is I've never seen a FOIA like this ever.
So it's better to do it in person, correct?
Yeah, but I mean, we're not getting the Department of Homeland Security now. Let's see. Submit a request to Federal Law Enforcement Training Center, Secret Service, Custom and Border Patrol. Huh. Let's go back. This is a weird one here, guys. I'm glad we're learning together. We're learning together. Which one is this? Citizen and Immigration Services. Okay, that's what that is. No, fuck you. We all give feedback. Let's get some feedback. Survey Monkey. Oh no, it's a Survey Monkey. I don't got time for that. How would you rate your satisfaction? What information were you looking for today? Very good, good, or all right. What the hell? Direct FOIA requests to the appropriate component contact as listed below. All right, so maybe FEMA. No, it wouldn't be FEMA. Might be Custom and Border. It's probably Customs, I'm thinking. Let me just scroll here. Federal Protective Services. See, the thing is, the Department of Homeland Security has so many things underneath it. It's like...
It's a lot, yeah.
You got TSA underneath it. So it's either going to be No, it's not going to be TSA. I'm thinking it's going to be Customs and Border Protection. No, because that's not international.
Real quick.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm definitely not figuring this out right this second. All right, so TSA. Oh, they have a number too. Okay, so good. They got here we go. At DHS stuff. All right, now we're cooking. So this email here, I'm just going to send an email to that person and request any and all. And this is another important point because I got to jump in a sec here. This is another important point. Is you guys can go ahead and look at the FOIA logs that have already been requested. So as you saw, when I was trying to request the FOIA log, you could look through all the other archives there. You can look online, or you can just stroll into your town or city hall or whatever governmental agency it may be and say, I'd like to inspect the FOIA logs. And what's really good about inspecting the FOIA logs, and shout out to Audit Them, everyone's favorite auditor, and encourage you to audit them, taught me is look through the FOIA logs that have already been requested, because sometimes before when I first did FOIAs, I would say, oh yeah, let me get a copy of the governor's emails. And I wouldn't always get things back. But what happens is a lot of journalists, a lot of lawyers, a lot of real estate people will FOIA things. And when they do that, they do it in these words. Please give me any and all documents relating and or pertaining to documents, graphs, tables, pictures, video surveillance on this. And what I just do is I just steal word for word pretty much what that FOIA request has already been sent, and it's in good legal things, and I'll just replace what they're looking for with what I'm looking for. and it makes your shit seem stupid legit because you're asking the same way they are. And to add a whole nother level on top of that, what people want to do is go get a Proton Mail. I mean, everyone can spy on you. The NSA is watching you beat your meat all the time, whatever. But Proton Mail adds another level. Just make an email Proton Mail and say FOIA investigator or U.S. auditor or this or that. Something that doesn't say like, Sexy Girl 143 or Broncos fan 98 or something like that. Make something, and you're gonna get a better response from the FOIA office because remember you're gonna try to be shooting, and when I say shooting, I'm not meaning with bullets. You're gonna be looking for the FOIA contact as opposed to just submitting one on the online portal. We're gonna have to do another stream, News Now Mass, because I was trying to get you on behind the scenes for like an hour there, and as a matter of fact, my radio show is calling me right now to join. So I'm gonna put in the chat right now, guys, republicbroadcasting.org, and you guys can go over there to listen live. I'll actually answer this real quick.
So I think they're going to be the next player that.
All right, I'm muted. News Now, Mass. Tell people how they can get in touch with you. Tell people how they can help your cause and donate to you.
Yeah. I'm not working right now from these people because they are using like military microwave weapons on me, so my back is crippled. But you guys can find me on PayPal. My first name is Tony, Tony. My last name Harani, Hourani. It's all together, no spaces. At Tony Harani on PayPal. You could find me on Facebook. It's News Now Massachusetts. I'm also on Instagram, News Now Mass, Twitter, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, guys, go join them over there. News Now Mass. Look forward to him joining us again very soon. You can find him here, PayPal on screen. Please do. And you guys can find me here on republicbroadcasting.org. Official Arts, if you're still there. Anybody wants to call in, you guys can call into the show. The call-in number is right on the front page of the website there. And we'll get to calls today because I do not believe we have a guest. So, yeah, join us. Thank you very much, News Now Mass, for your patience. And, guys, please go support your boy right here. He's going through shit, and he's out there standing up for our rights. It's the least that we can do is support one of our own because the government that gets paid to do that is doing the opposite. So, News Now Mass, thank you very much. Everyone go find News Now Massachusetts on Facebook, on Instagram. Give him a little PayPal, help him through his struggle so he can come out on the other side a stronger person. And find me right now on republicbroadcasting.org, republicbroadcasting.org, republicbroadcasting.org. I'm going to be there broadcasting live, and you can join, call in. Fake Mike.
Thank you.
I'm mastering the bounce of the new carpet. Real news. Peace out, guys.
We're still in this, or it ended it for me too? You still there, man, or not?